Let's look at question number 71. And the correct answer is develop stakeholder engagement assessment matrix. See what happens. He notices that a particular stakeholder is quite resistant to sign off on the project management plan because he does not believe the project success criteria. The support from the stakeholder is crucial now, which means that you have not really figured out how to engage with this particular stakeholder. You should have been able to identify the stakeholder. And during stakeholder identification and prioritization, you should have already had some idea about the way the stakeholder feels towards this particular project and the reasons why. And that should have been part of the next step, which is making a plan stakeholder engagement. And part of stakeholder engagement, planning the stakeholder engagement, is creating an engagement assessment matrix, right? And then when you make the matrix, you place, okay, this is their current position, this is where I desire it to them, and therefore you will have to have a plan. Okay, how do I take this person from this to this? Which means that is missing. Perfect. And the best answer is develop stakeholder engagement assessment matrix. You might have been missing this. Now, when you say B, update the risk register, that has nothing to do with this, right? It is about engaging with the stakeholders. How do they feel about a project and how do you overcome them? It's basically planning stakeholder engagement. So it's not B. When we talk about C, escalate to the functional manager of the stakeholder. Well, you can escalate, but what if this person actually feels a particular way and he's crucial? How is this complaint and all this going to really help, right? The the point is the person would still have that feeling about this particular project. How do we overcome that? How do we understand that? That's not really happening here. Now, D, review the project charter with the stakeholder. Really? So, uh, I'm sure he has seen it. And if he's so crucial for the project, even if he sees that, if he feels that this project is not really needed, uh, he doesn't believe in the project's success. So, how is charter going to help? Right? So, the best among these options is A. All right, let's move on to question number 72. And the correct answer is C. Agile team focus on empirical and value-based measurements for project delivery. So let's look at what's really happening here. An agile project team has completed an iteration that has added an alignment number of features to the product. Now they want to illustrate the features and solicit feedback in a demonstration or a review meeting. Which of the following statements is true for an agile managed project? So all you have to figure out, okay, which of these statements are true as far as agiles are concerned. So when you look at A, an agile team delivers a predicted completion date for a project upfront. Well, since we are not talking about an iteration, then I think they're talking about the entire project. Well, that's not done in agile. It's an iteration, iterative as well as incremental, both of them combined. So you don't have a complete completion date upfront. So this is incorrect. B. Agile teams focus on mathematical and planned measurements for project delivery. not always, right? So you cannot plan mathematically for everything. So it's mostly based on user stories, the size of user stories. Which one are you picking up for a specific project, for a specific iteration, for a specific sprint? So everything is not mathematical, right? Okay, so let's look at D. It is a key characteristic of an agile project to plan the end product very meticulously upfront. Again, you don't need so much of upward planning because this is not a predictive life cycle, it's an agile life cycle. Now, if it's an adaptive life cycle. Now let's come back to see agile teams focuses on empirical and value-based measurements for project delivery. Absolutely. When we say empirical, some rule of thumbs could be done. For example, in your own project, you suddenly realize that how much time is it taking for your user stories to get completed in different iterations. And that's how your velocity gets created. Now, this is empirical for you, right? And you also based on value-based measurements, like does it help the business? What is the minimum business increment that we are providing to the customer? So it's all based around that. So this, among all these options, is the only true for agile. Now, did you see something very interesting? They gave you a scenario which has no meaning as far as the question is concerned, because the last statement is basically what we need to, worry. But yeah, sometimes they have questions like this and it irritates you. Man, if you wanted to ask only this, then why did you say all this? And this happens a lot in PMP exams, right? So get used to it. All right. In case you're looking for a course, an examination readiness course, which is going to get you ready in just under 16 hours to ace PMP exam. Does a course like that exist? Yes, it does. Well, all you have to do is type pmvideo.pm-pulse.com. That's my site for PM videos. And over here, you have a few PMP 2021 related videos. The very first one is PMP Dash. PMP Dash for acing PMP 2021. When you come to this particular landing page, you have a video which will give you an introduction to entire PMP Dash. It also contains certain things which are there in PMP Dash. There'll be samples of what's contained inside. You can make an informed decision. The best thing is it gets you ready in just 16 hours. It contains every aspect of what's going to be covered in the PMP exam. Not only that, it has also 180 questions, full examination set guided by me. In case you're looking for a course which will get you ready for PMP exam in a very short period of time, and not only that, it'll help you ace it. Well, this is the course. And the correct answer is work with the team to identify additional risks and follow the risk management plan. Because what is happening here is every day is coming up with the new challenges and he's solving them. So basically, it is post facto. They're only doing firefighting, which is not a very good thing. Firefighting is not a very good thing. Some part of firefighting needs to be done. That means you're having a lot of issues, which basically means that you have not done basic risk management. You're not preventing the risks to occur. They are happening, they're getting converted as an issue, and then you're solving them. That's essentially what is called firefighting. Therefore, you need to look into your risk management and help the team come out with lots of risks, prioritize them, and then, of course, follow the entire risk management process. All these other options are not really going to solve the problem, right? So when you talk about escalate to his sponsor the daily issues, well, again, you're also becoming a part of the firefighting, except that you're escalating the firefighting. So you're not really solving the problem here. B, execute the project management plan and quality management plan. Well, this is more to do with risk management because we are not identifying risks. And therefore, we are facing a lot of issues. See, let the team members solve problem and do reviews with them. Again, they're solving the problem. They're already doing this. When you add review to it, it's not going to help the concept of firefighting. It's very expensive. It's wastage of time. So the best is identify issues so that you do not have to do firefighting and you're able to take care of risks before they occur. All right. Alrighty. Let's move on to question number 74. And the correct answer is B. Review the communications management plan with team and revise it with changes, if any. So, what's really happening here? So it says, what is the best course of action as a project manager when the project team members do not comply to communications management plan and they do not have a shared understanding of how communication needs to flow during a project, which means there is definitely something wrong with your communication plan. You created it, but it may not be practical. It may not involve that you've actually found out what are the communication needs and the way they would be comfortable in communicating. Maybe you've just added a few things which according to you may be good, but the team members are finding it difficult or they find it not providing them enough value. Therefore, you need to review the communication management plan and, if necessary, revise it. Now, look at this A. Hold a video conference with the team members and tell them that following the communication plan is important. This is bureaucratic. You need to understand is that you force down a plan, whether somebody buys into it or not, you're asking for trouble. So this is bureaucracy. Should not be done. C, escalate to the functional managers of the team members. Again, uh, you can escalate as much as you can, but if the people have not been able to buy into your communication plan, this problem will continue even after escalation, right? D, review the risk management plan with the team members. This has nothing to do with risk management. It has something to do with communication management plan. And so therefore, the best answer is B. All right. Moving on to question number 75. And the correct answer is B. Basically, you need to know from the bottom of the ladder to the top, that's called the correct sequence of the Tuckman's ladder or the stages of Tuckman's team building. And the very first stage is forming, followed by storming. Next comes norming, and then performing. And finally, towards the end of the project, when you're saying goodbye, well, you have a bit of a separation anxiety, and that's called a journey. All right. So, this is the correct stages.